Before the video starts, I just wanted to let you guys know that my merch store is now restocked with some exciting new designs. Be sure to follow the top link in the description box below to jump over to Teespring and check out these awesome new designs. It's a wonderful way to support the channel as well as get a tangible, comfortable, and premium shirt design. Be sure to check it out. I just love the design so much. We have a limited edition offer going right now too. We've got the black and white designs, which are going to be permanent, but as of now, the red design is limited, and it's actually my favorite. So definitely check out the limited edition shirt. It's just the most vivid and gorgeous red, but I'll update you guys more on the merch collection as well, because I'm hoping to expand. But yes, just follow the link in the description box as well as in the top right hand corner now to support this channel with a merch purchase. Thanks so much, guys. Let's get into the video now. Hi everyone, and welcome to October 2020. This is Sky here to talk about this incredible oncoming month of October. What different, inspiring, and motivating energy coming in. If you're listening to this video right when it first comes out in September, I will tell you right now that October makes things start to feel a little bit different, and it's not all good, it's not all bad, but we are really becoming much more in alignment with the truth of our expression, it feels like, and many of us are really stepping into our power in new ways. A very, very empowering month October is going to be, and you might already be feeling this at the end of September. As the sun moves into Libra, we are really connecting to a new cardinal idea or to a new tendency that we've discovered to make ourselves stronger. Libra season has always, for this entire year, I've felt that Libra season was going to be the most substantial or most kind of the most, not the most heavy, but it's kind of the most powerful and pressurized month of this year. Libra is definitely one of the sun signs that has really risen to prominence energetically this year. Many Libras on the world stage have really taken in new positions of power. Many Libras in day-to-day life are finally waking up to their soul purpose and soul motivation. So if you're a Libra watching this, know that you are kind of at the forefront and you are kind of at the pinnacle of humanity, and a lot of people are really going to be looking to you. And even if you're not a Libra, that's kind of the energy that I'm feeling for this month is we're really kind of being looked toward. Like every single person or every single individual has some degree of others paying attention to them or looking to them for an answer. It feels like we all need to answer questions this month. It feels like there is something really heavy coming from the last few months, because right as we get into October, on October 4th, Pluto is going to go direct, Saturn having already gone direct, and Jupiter as well. The triple retrograde Capricorn conjunction that we talked about for months and months is completely over. And these three planets direct in late degrees of Capricorn are very tired of the lack of progress or the lack of forward momentum. And very quickly, we can all feel a need to really latch onto our higher sense of purpose. So many of us, it does feel like, have gotten a glimpse of what we could do or what we could activate within our purpose. And some of us have really questioned that with the retrograde of the last few months, with all the retrogrades of the last few months. Many of us have been like, well, I have this idea of purpose, I have this idea of motivation, but I do this and that pays the bills, and that's what I have to keep doing. Whereas in this month of October, you start to see that things are quite a bit more permanent than you realized. And we definitely kind of have this experience, I feel, coming in where we ask ourselves, okay, am I in a place that I want to be for the rest of my life? Am I in an expression of energy that I feel suits me with a sense of permanence? That is kind of a tough thing that we're dealing with for the next few months, for the rest of 2020, is a theme of permanence. Or are we willing to accept what we've manifested permanently? Are we willing to accept that what is on the line right now might be the only ladder that we really have to climb for a long time? It's not feeling like that's actually the case, but the Capricorn energy in its mature, higher evolved sense is really trying to teach us about what we put our energy toward, and is that what we want to wield with a sense of permanence. So it is a very deliberate month. It's a very deliberate time where every single action and every single focus of energy has a permanence about it. Okay. And for some people, I'm going to talk about the main heavy intuitive message that I'm feeling coming into this month is that some people just feel super focused and super invested in an area that they've now discovered to be a little bit incongruent with what they want for the more permanent sense of their life. So even those who have been successful, even those who feel very, strong right now, can have a sense of, I kind of want to do something else. I kind of wish that I had another, output of energy, and some of the things that I'm wanting, they don't really feel totally congruent with what I'm doing now. How can I have both? We kind of have, okay, so yeah, this is actually it. We have an issue of wanting to have our cake and eat it too. And I've actually gotten that impression, like that expression coming as a psychic impression a lot over the last few weeks as I've been meditating about this time, having our cake and eating it too, that it keeps coming up over and over again. And when I've heard that expression before, it's kind of, it's been annoying to me. Like, I'm like, well, why can't we have what does that mean? What does it mean? Like, have our cake and eat it too? Like, isn't that, I don't get it. So I was thinking more about it, and I was thinking more about that expression. And I realized that what that's trying to say is a lot of us want to have the whole cake, we want to see it in its totality, in its undisturbed and uninterrupted vibration, but we also want to taste it, which requires interrupting the cake's, wholesomeness. And it's no longer that fresh, full cake anymore. And it's depleted, and there's less and less and less of it. So what that expression means, and this is important for this month, is that as we make choices in life, as we satiate ourselves in certain ways, it starts to deplete certain options, or there are certain things that become less and less practical as we choose to invest our energy in certain places. So this is such a great time as we come out of Virgo season and into Libra season to understand what cake of life we want to be eating, to understand what flavors we want to understand, and really start to embody the breadth of what we actually want. Because what I am feeling quite strongly is that quite a lot of us, or maybe all of us to a degree, have been doing things or investing in things or, consuming aspects of life that don't really lead us to feel great, but we don't really see the other options. So there's a juvenile sense of frustration that does come up this month with Mars retrograde, Mercury moving to retrograde this month as well, that wonders, why have I made these choices? What am I doing? What is the bigger thing? What does this get me really? So there's a frustration there as well. As this month really, with the sun also moving to oppose Mars retrograde, the Mars Libra Aries opposition in astrology deals with frustration. It deals with instability, too much focus on the polarities of life, too much focus on extremes. And this is the axis in astrology that points toward sometimes mental illness as well, and bipolarity, or any type of just emotional breaking as well. So we have a very strong need in the month of October to pay close attention to our emotional well-being, to pay close attention to how many different directions we're seeing ourselves in a day, as there's a bit of an erratic nature. That's really what I'm looking for. There is something, especially towards the middle section of October, there's an erraticism, because we do have, within a period of 2 days, we have the exact Sun-Mars opposition, as well as Mercury moving to go retrograde in Scorpio, which Scorpio is also traditionally ruled by Mars. So Mars is really going to be dominating the energetic wavelength where we have Mars in its home sign of Aries retrograde. We have the sun opposing it in Libra on that axis. And we have Mercury also in Mars's sign going retrograde. So we've got a lot of difficult Mars energy that must be channeled through. And with that in mind, understanding that, I would venture to say that any sense of discomfort or any sense of fear or self-doubt, or, say that you've been working on something for a long time, with all that Capricorn stuff, maybe you're really coming to an apex or a pinnacle of a long time's hard work. What October, and to a lesser degree even September of 2020, can try to kind of convince you of energetically is that this is no longer right, or that there's something too volatile, or that there's something unwell about the things that you're doing. And I would look more to the emotional prospects of your life than I would to the practical ones with that, because I think we can get a little bit mixed up or a little bit too broad with things, and almost in an unwell sense we can start to think that our problems are stemming from the practical area of our lives, when that's such a non-issue, okay? Also, Mars is the goal-oriented pioneer energy. Aries as well, and Scorpio to a degree also deals with ambition and purpose. So we've got a lot of things kind of messed up with ambition and purpose, it feels like, and we're trying to heal that in October. So October of 2020 is going to demand that we really take a second look at our purpose and understand if what we're doing every day is in alignment with that. Because I feel that many, many, many people are, and it's not even a matter of them being out of alignment with their own purpose, but there's an emotional connection that I'm feeling that many people have with what they want that is new in their lives, but they have not attained yet, and feeling as if the practical side of their life does not support that, or if due to the current job that they have, or due to the current, status quo of their lives, it's like it doesn't lend them the possibility to do what they actually want to do. So this is super painful, and I really want to focus on healing that up in this video. So let's delve a little bit deeper into that. So getting a feeling as that the practical aspects of your life can no longer support what you want, okay? The wants versus the practical life, the status quo. This is something that we cannot predict for, okay? As we get toward the calendar new year of 2021, we're going to have a Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius. And that's just not something that we can actually predict for yet. Anybody who's like future tripping right now or trying to understand, okay, in this year I'm going to do that. I think it's always good to plan ahead and to get motivated about the future. But I will say that it's really undecided and undetermined for everybody. We have rises and falls and all kinds of different things in different places that really change up pretty much everyone's goals. So I wouldn't focus too much on goals right now. Again, we're still in the middle section of the zodiac seasonally, which deals more so with more mundane things and routine and, different ideas. And yes, we are moving into Scorpio season at the end of October, but it's going to be so important that we don't place too much focus on, these things that are like catalyzing some kind of extreme change right now. There's nothing much to be gained by extreme changes when it comes to like an individual personal level right now. It's just not right. Okay, we have to kind of keep on keeping on. There has to be some kind of common factor right now over the energy that we're putting out. And that's life, sometimes like the things that we do for years and years and years, the habits that we have over years and years and years, these things aren't just things that we gamble with. We don't just throw them away and decide on something new, especially in a year like this. Now 2021 comes around and we can really start to change things up. That is true. But now it's not really a time, I don't feel, in my personal opinion, what I'm seeing in the transits, to really get crazy with anything, okay? To really get dramatic or to really make any big risks, any huge business investments, any huge changes in career path, anything like that feels more to me to be an emotional or almost like chemical thing of the body than it is actually tied to our own like destiny. Because I think a lot of us are getting like an insight of destiny with this time. A lot of us are seeing the height of our potential. That is the beauty of this Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, especially direct in Capricorn. We can see like how the actual source energy within us translates into the real physical material world. And these downloads are like something that we have never been able to see before. And some of us are so excited, and that's incredible. And that's getting us aligned with what we need to actually manifest. But it's a process, okay? That energy, seeing that, this is kind of like Holy Grail stuff. This is kind of like Pandora's box stuff, like the star card in the tarot, where sometimes to see that so clearly can introduce an amount of destruction. And that's really congruent with the Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto conjunction too. And yes, the people who can interpret it well and who can wield it are the people who will become very powerful with that transit. But there are some people who will see it and try to wield it and lose control of themselves and destroy everything in their lives to the point that there's no stature for them to assume either. So we have to really, we're dealing with Pluto moving direct. Pluto's been retrograde for a long time now. I'll link the video below about this particular Pluto retrograde. I did make a video on it. It's been retrograde for a long time, and it's moving direct in Capricorn in Saturn's sign. I mean, this is like mythology level, like material world, transformative, destructive, regenerative stuff. And especially the Plutonian people out there, the people with, a very prominent Pluto in their chart, the Scorpios, the, Sun Pluto, Moon Pluto people out there, you probably are getting a bit of a call to action right now. You're probably feeling that Plutonian energy come in, and it's like showing you, even to another level, these higher purpose potentials. And to a degree, not to latch on to that is not right, but it doesn't feel like any of the practical things that we have going right now actually detract from it that much. So it's kind of okay to keep on keeping on, is what I'm saying. Don't, when you get this sort of revelation, because it does feel like a very revelation oriented time to me. Like a lot of us are just like, oh my God, I never knew that that's what all of these experiences. We are dealing so strongly with the long term right now, with like the deep histories of our life. And as we wake up to that and we see the most, probing aspect of that here over the next few months, so many of us are like, whoa, I never knew it took all of that trauma or all of that grief or all of, that study or all of those different partners, all of these different jobs, all of these different statuses of my life of being rich or poor or somewhere in between. I never knew that it took all of that just to put this writing on the wall, and it's crazy to see how much we can actually wield through that. And also that it's not right this second though either is the tough thing. Like it takes a different kind of shift to really step into that, but I think that we're on the right track for the most part. And the most important thing to let go of this month is any self-defeating prophecies where it's like, okay, because of this, I will lose my ability to do that. Or there's a sort of a sacrificial energy coming in right now too, where we think, okay, I have to sacrifice this amount of this in order to do this. And we really are called, I think, to overcome that mentality, because sometimes it is true. There are long-term choices that we make that preclude us from certain things, but there's almost nothing that can stand in the way of a true soul-interpreted vision trying to manifest. So this is kind of where the spiritual world and the material world sort of clash a bit and fight as if they are titans, where we think, okay, there are material realities, but also I have this vision and I've sort of interpreted my purpose at a higher level, and I've had almost a hyper spiritual experience of understanding more so what I'm meant for, which is more powerful. Of course, that hyper spiritual experience is more powerful because when someone's working with their own soul's alignment, it almost sort of changes the scope of what they can actually do, and it does open doors that usually wouldn't have been open to them even due to past decisions. But the material dimension is also very strong right now. So I do think that it's good to just keep playing things safe and to keep things healthy and to keep working on your routine, your health, your body, the decisions that you need to make, getting rid of the dead weight like we were doing in September, any dead weight, any things that you don't need to have in your life, you can still kind of work on that throughout October, while just envisioning for the future and envisioning what your life will start to look like over the next few years. Okay, so now that we've talked a little bit about the intuitive messages and some of the astrology dates, I want to talk just specifically about Libra season and what its significance is this year. So generally, Libra season is always it's like a corridor. It's like a hallway. It's connecting to different realities. Virgo and Scorpio, which are both the signs on either side of Libra, these signs are very experiential and they're very concentrated energies, whereas Libra is more so of infrastructural energy, and it sort of bridges that gap. It's cardinal, so it is connecting the point between Virgo and Scorpio. And always during that time, it can kind of feel like a transition, obviously, but there can be sort of a linearity to the energy of Libra that discourages us, especially in this type of year, or completely motivates us. And that's sort of what we're learning through is, okay, the choicelessness of what I'm going through right now due to my actions or my choices over the last few years, which have now made a certain linearity in my life. How do I feel about these things? What options do I actually have now? Am I actually creating a reality with as many options as I think I am? What am I actually signing up for? Libra is also the sign of legalities. It's ruled by Venus. So there's sort of a sense of like what systematically gives us pleasure or gives us a sense of, safety and protection in our lives. It is masculine air energy. So a lot of people find Libra to be quite feminine or think that Libra is quite a feminine sign, but it is actually a masculine air sign, though it is ruled by Venus. So we get a sort of need to balance the yin and yang of our own lives, really coming into balance. I mean, obviously Libra is the scale, so it's really weighing things out. And that's why Libra is such an awesome sign to me, is because it is ruled by a feminine planet, but it is a masculine air sign. So this sign knows more about balance and knows more about the different aspects of our lives to focus and not to focus than any other sign. So that's the blessing of a Libra season, especially in what feels to be such a make or break time, to really understand all of the components that we're working with and to definitely see where we're placing too much focus. Okay, definitely to see where we've not looked at all. We have to really rebalance ourselves and think about what actually needs attention in our lives in Libra season. Because what makes Libra season hard is when we're forcing our attention or forcing our focus into one area, and it gives it something that's not great. I talk about this a lot, or I use this example a lot, where if any of you have made jewelry or worked with metal, you'll know that if you over-focus it, or if you work too much on it, or if you change your mind a lot, or, work it in so many different directions over and over again, it doesn't look nice, or it breaks, or it gets tarnished. So that's what Libra energy is all about. It's about these small turns, these small, but very deliberate and very precise reworking of energy that gives the perfect, most beautiful metalwork or the perfect, most beautiful piece of jewelry, as Libra definitely rules those types of things as well. So that's what I always think of. If anything's feeling overworked in your life, overbeared, over-focused on, now's the time to set up a new structure, okay? Now's the time to maybe just, throw this piece of metal away and start working on this new metal and learn from that old metal that we have to be very deliberate and very precise when it comes to deliberately making changes in our lives, because Libra is preceding Scorpio, which Scorpio is the penultimate sign of change. So the changes are coming, the changes are on the horizon, but this is where we're really making the shifts with our own hands, really weighing out the balance, really understanding what mentality, what status we want to move into a change-oriented time with. And that's the magic of this time, is you can really get things in order. You can really fix up your life. You can really make sure everything's fitting right, that you're reevaluating your focus, that you're reevaluating your purpose, reevaluating your potential, and then making decisions based on that reevaluation. That's really important with Libra sign. It's not just about reevaluating, because we can get stuck in indecisiveness. Of course, we can get completely just like, one day I want this, the next day I want that, one day I'm focusing on this, and there's no actual progress made. So we discerned in Virgo season, we reevaluated and made decisions in Libra season, and then the real transformative zest came in Scorpio season, and then we shoot off like fireworks in Sagittarius season, and we're like really high up in Capricorn season, and so on and so forth. But that's kind of the natural rhythm of things. So just kind of understand that during the beginning and middle of October, we are reevaluating. You don't have to set anything in stone. You don't really have to do that much in Libra season. It's just really good to understand your motivation, to understand why you are doing what you're doing every day, why you're still in the job you're in, why you're having dreams about whatever you're having dreams about. The why, the how, the motivation behind things is very important to get clear on during Libra season, because if you don't, you can start to feel like you're just supporting some kind of system or supporting some kind of lifestyle that is indifferent to you. And that's what we want to avoid with Libra season. There can be a weird type of like indecisive indifference that comes up that is very purgatorial if we can't really, know why we are where we are and why we're doing what we're doing, or if we resent what we're doing as well, as could be very possible this month. Because I was talking about earlier in the video, I think a lot of us are really focused on Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto energy, that purpose-oriented Capricorn progression. But I actually got an insight as I was taking a walk the other night. I was actually stargazing, and I was looking up at the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Capricorn, and it's so bright, it's so beautiful, it's so incredible. But as I was walking, I actually was pointed straight towards Mars, which I also saw in the sky. And as I looked at it, the trees that I was looking through formed a perfect circle with their leaves and branches around Mars, and Jupiter and Saturn are like really high up in the sky and just like above it all. But this was a very clear sign to me that we have to look a lot more at this Mars energy right now here in October. Yes, Capricorn energy is going direct. We've got all of that to work with, and it is going to be there. It's going to do what it's doing. But we've got to really look at our impulses, okay? We've got to really look at what we're driven for. We've got to really look at the things that we've not had control of, the emotions or the motivations that we've lost control of, the rhythms in our lives that are sort of just completely in charge of us, the things that own us in life. Okay, we want to really have ownership and rulership over our own lives, as that is a sign of somebody who's really energetically and spiritually aligned, is when they are in control of their own lives and they have like a very solid sense of autonomy. And I think that that's what Mars retrograde is really teaching us right now. And we want to make sure that we're not making decisions at this time that revoke our autonomy, or going into a lot of debt, for example, and meaning that we have to stay in that money generating job indelibly, so definitely a super important time to live within our means. Okay, if there's anything you can do right now, it's just being very safe with what you have at your disposal, saving more and more and more. So great right now. Downsizing, minimalizing, getting rid of excess things, paying down debts, anything like that is so great, because we get more and more in control of our lives when we do that. And thinking just about Mars retrograde, and thinking about the sign of Aries, and thinking about those pioneering things that we want that might have gone a little bit backwards now, and how we can get that working back in its best form, will be one of the most healing things we can do this month. The last thing that I want to talk about for Libra season is a new discovery of kindness that we can have within. I do feel a lot of like bitterness. I feel like many people are angry, or many people are upset even at like just random people that they have no affiliation with. And it's going to be important to really recognize any like bitterness or superiority or inferiority complexes right now too, because Libra, the way that it's connecting with the Capricorn energy, can be like very imperious and very it can kind of like look down as well, and that not for everybody, not in every case, but we have to really be aware of any tendency to like look down, or any tendency to be bitter towards people or experiences or situations that we have no true context or no true affiliation with. I'm feeling this to be like super massive collectively, where we think that we know more about certain situations or certain things than we do, or we have more authority or more, control, or more need for control than we would ever like want over any type of situation. So just keeping things small is great, keeping things personal, your own day, your own experience, your own network, and your own sense of compassion as well, and like, so like kindness and compassion and understanding toward people that you don't have a lot of context with is super rewarding right now, super elevating karmically to, despite not understanding another person's motivation or another person's reasoning for belief patterns or anything like that, to not really hold it against them is really great. Because it kind of elevates you out of that, paradigm of opposition. So lots of opposition and square energy this month astrologically, to a point that it's like not nice. It's not nice for a lot of people to go through. It's painful for a lot of people to wake up feeling angry about certain situations which are so foreign to them and so unrelated to their own life that it's just irrelevant, yet it consumes most of their energy, their time, and their life force. This is something that's very tough right now and very prevalent. It's very hard for people to feel so angry for so many hours in the day, or to feel so torn apart by their own purpose or their own dreams or their own aspirations, that they are rendered malnourished or friendless, or completely out of sync with with their own sense of prosperity. So many squares and so many oppositions. It's hard for us to actually be kind, or to be compassionate, or to be loving towards people, because there might sort of be this energetic disposition that nobody will ever be kind to me, nobody will ever be compassionate to me, nobody would ever give me the same, so why would I give them the same? So, I mean, this is kind of a whole nother topic, or just a whole other road that we can go down. But it's just so rewarding to understand the interior sense of conflict and allow that to be something that is manifested through art, or through kindness, or through charity, or through beauty, or through understanding that nobody really is perfect, or nobody really has ever known the right answer to some of these like bigger problems. It's good to have an amount of like patience and understanding of the complexity of different experiences for different people right now. And as you do that, and as you start to understand and relate to the totality of certain results that are here in 2020, that is actually where the new ideas come, and that is where the new wave of actual solutions start to become accessible as we're moving towards Aquarius time. So we have a very, very incredible thing happening at the end of this month. As we get right on the cusp of Libra and Scorpio, as part of October is Scorpio season, which I'll talk more specifically about in the November video. But on October 23rd, right when the sun gets at 0 degrees Scorpio, the moon is also going to be in Capricorn, and it's going to move into Aquarius. So for the first time, the moon comes and contacts the triple Capricorn conjunction, since it's all direct. So it's really going to start to usher in a new wave, even at the cusp of Libra and Scorpio. If we can get through Libra season and figure out some of these like trials, I feel that every single person to some degree has some amount of like personal entanglement or knots, or like tug of war, inner sense of conflict and tug of war. If we can use the discerning decision making and capability to actually choose our path forward and to make all of this work in a better way and to solve some of this conflict and emerge out of it with a sense of art or beauty or solutions, what we have is like a new revelation. Something is revealed to us, and I think that it's tangible. I think that it's real. I think that it looks for some people like business success, or it looks like, you know, a new degree program, or it looks like, you know, a completely new way of finding prosperity in your life and real resolution. Okay. And it builds us up to the time of the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius. And that's just going to be such an incredible new wave, is what I feel that to be. So anyway, everyone, what a significant month we are in October. Just really understand that this is a time where we are navigating, where we are putting puzzle pieces together, where we are solving a lot of old issues. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, we can be perfectionists to a fault, absolutely, coming out of Virgo season to Libra to Scorpio with the transits in the sky. Like, I'm sensing a huge sense of perfectionism. I'm sensing high stakes. I'm sensing like, oh my gosh, we've seen a window into the higher level of purpose that we've not been able to access before, and I've got to do it perfectly, or I've got to make this happen in a way that is, you know, just absolutely above the human condition. And that doesn't have to be. Like, it's a great time to just connect with our own sense of humanity and to slow things down a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect right now today, but to strive for it or to make it this high stakes is kind of cool. Just don't like wear yourself out too much, and enjoy revealing to yourself these new senses of purpose while allowing yourself the practical aspects of your previous life or your previous well-being. You really can have all of that. But it does seem to also come with new senses of responsibility, putting new things on the table, offering more, okay, to certain people. If you're, you know, trying to offer, if you're trying to give something to the world, you just have to understand the humanity of it all, and things will naturally fall into place. But yes, everyone, thank you so much for being here. I really hope you've enjoyed the video. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you're new. We're so close to hitting an exciting milestone, and it's just so incredible, as this is the 4-year anniversary of doing this channel. I started in September of 2016, doing it consistently. So it will just be really wonderful if you could subscribe if you haven't yet. And I am going to now put together 12 readings for Patreon, which will be available early and ad-free. They'll also be here on YouTube in October, but you can get them early and ad-free on Patreon, as well as weekly tea chats. I do weekly channelings, and they're some of my favorite content. And just by having a Patreon membership, you can get every Saturday weekly insights, and you can do viewer requests as well. You can ask questions. I talk about questions that any members over there ask. So I definitely recommend the Patreon page. And yes, be sure to comment below as well. Let me know how October is for you. Let me know what you thought of the video. And without further ado, thank you so much for being here, everyone. And be sure to jump over to Patreon for the general readings as well. I'll talk to you guys later. Much love. Bye.